What's up, everybody? Welcome to Are You Down with LPT, the podcast where agents like you share their stories, experiences, and insights to help each other level up and thrive. In every episode, we're diving deep into the real-life challenges, wins, and lessons from the front lines. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started, this is the place to connect, learn, and grow together. So, if you're ready to get down with LPT and take your game to the next level, let's jump in. Well, good morning. Another episode of Are You Down with LPT? And we're joined today by our very own state broker, Tracey Carr. Tracey, how are you?
I'm good.
We've known each other for, I don't know, a few years, right? How far do we go back?
Almost 20.
Almost 20 years. Yeah. 20 years. How long you been in real estate?
2003.
2003. I got in 2004. You would have joined Coldwell Banker in
2006.
2006. Mm-hmm. My dad would have recruited you at that time.
He sure did.
I would like to hear, how did he go about his recruiting?
Oh, well, I had a house on tour, and he circled and circled and circled, and my mentor at the time was Peggy Allen, and she knew what he was up to, and she was staying as long as she could, but he waited her out, so he got me by himself.
Yeah, he was relentless. I remember signing posters and different things. We
sure did. We want you.
Yeah,
Yep, Uncle Sam.
He was a recruiter for sure.
He was. Yeah.
Oh, and he's still alive, and still just not recruiting.
I wouldn't say that.
He's still at it. So let's learn a little bit about you. Let's go pre-real estate. Mm. So what were you doing in your life before you got into real estate in 2003?
I was a flight attendant for United Airlines, yeah.
United? Oh, I always thought it was Ryanair.
Ryanair?
No, I'm just kidding. United Airlines, that's that's big time, right?
It was.
Did you have to work your way up, or did you always start with United?
Nope. Started with United when I was 19 years old. Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And so you were at United for how long?
Until 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not one to give me years, so we can't figure out the math on that. So I
think that's 16 years.
Well, you said 19 years old to 2005.
Yeah. Well, 16 years. So,
16 years.
Yeah, I was 35.
I mean, that's a whole career. That's a long time.
It was. Yeah. It changed a lot in that time period, though. So.
When you started, were people smoking on planes?
Yes.
Oh man, a hot box on a plane.
Yep. Just those last two rows, because the smoke didn't move. There's that barrier. Yeah. Right by the galley too, where the food was.
Yeah. Times have changed a little bit. So, those 16 years, starting when you're 19, you said the industry changed quite a bit during that time. What changed?
Just automation. I mean, I started off with a beeper and being on call, and our contracts, they were able to kind of manipulate them more. I started off and I would have 24-hour layovers in Monterey or in Vegas or in, and then it got to the point where, computerization made it so that they could say, oh, well, we can put all these flights together, give them a minimum layover, have to stay out by the airport, so get the most work out of us in the shortest amount of time. So
they figured it out.
They did figure it out. Yeah, went from taking limos to hotel rooms and having coach luggage and all of that good stuff to
That sounds like a pretty sweet gig.
Working on a bus in the air.
Yeah.
That's what it pretty much turned into. So that's what we have today.
Yeah.
People wear their pajamas, bring their pillows and their blankets, and we used to dress.
You're talking the people that flew.
Yeah.
And my wife she wants to dress up when we fly. I'm like, I'm going to wear sweats. And
slippers.
Slippers. But you see those videos, like old recordings, people were wearing suits and smoking.
Yeah.
It was just another time.
Yeah.
So what do you think you learned in 16 years, maybe that, would have impacted, who you are, both personal and professionally?
Mm-hmm. I think in terms of, I think it made me pretty resilient and flexible because, when you're a flight attendant, you don't really have a lot of control over, where you're going, when you're going, weather issues. You might have plans and they, get messed up. You may think you're going to come home, but you end up staying in Buffalo for 24 hours because you got snowed in with, 2 feet of snow. So I think that's one thing it taught me. It taught me how to handle a lot of different personalities, right?
Yeah.
And be just customer focused. And,
Do you think it was as crazy then as it is now? Because you see videos now and just people, okay. Yeah, I just didn't know if it's because now we're recording everything or...
No. I mean, I can think of only 2 times in my entire career that I felt like the people were not, they were unruly, right? And one we just didn't even let on the plane because he drank too much. And then the other one was angry because he couldn't smoke. So, So, I mean...
He wasn't in the last 2 rows.
He was not. I don't think he got the memo that smoking wasn't allowed anymore.
Yeah, it's wild. I feel like a week doesn't go by where I don't see something happen in an airport or an airplane where somebody just is gone crazy.
Yeah, I just think, people's tolerance levels aren't what they used to be.
Well, maybe we should let them smoke again. Might help. I don't know. Yeah, so I would imagine, customer service, obviously you talked about it just a minute ago, but all kinds of personalities. And certainly we see that in real estate all the time. We see it with agents, we see it with our customers, clients, all that stuff. So I'm sure you learn that, right? And even now as a broker, you still have to deal with all kinds of personalities.
Both agent-wise, and then if they have, with clients, and just helping agents manage, how should I handle this situation? What would you say? And it's just kind of getting to know the people and kind of getting down to the root of the issue, because sometimes what they're saying isn't what the real issue is. Yeah. So
we deal with that for sure. Well, so 2000, whatever, you had a little layover. Well, I didn't mean to say that. a little where you did both. A couple of years there.
Kind of yes and kind of no. So I had been on maternity leave with my youngest, Thomas, and I was due to go back in September of 2001. And we all know what happened in September 2001. So since I had been a flight attendant for as long as I had quite a bit of seniority. Yeah. And so since they lessened the amount of flights that were happening because of 9/11, they offered me kind of a sabbatical. Like I could still stay on as a flight attendant. I could take a furlough, is what they call them, and then still keep my benefits and not have to go to work. Yeah. So I said, yes, please. And I got my real estate license.
Yeah. Started working on your license. So you weren't planning, it wasn't you were necessarily looking for a change. It just kind of like it happened.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was surrounded with people that were in the industry, right? In the building industry and what have you. And they were like, hey, I really think that you would be good at this. I see other people selling houses. I think you would be good at this. And I thought, no, I'm not a salesperson. Yeah. I don't really think I would be good at that. But I went to an all-call night with Iowa Realty. And I left there really actually dejected because the 2 people that were doing it were talking about how I needed to be in the office every day, all day. And I had 4 children under the age of 8. So that wasn't going to be an option for me. And then Andy Casper at the Ankeny office called me the next day. And I actually went to high school with his son, Tom. And so knew Tom quite well. And Andy said, well, just come in and talk to me. And so I went in and talked to him, and he said, Tracey, he goes, I don't care if I ever see your face, if you're out selling houses. I don't care if I ever see if you're out selling houses. And he said, I think you can sell houses. And from there, I said, really? And he said, yeah. And so jumped in. Yeah.
Obviously, I think there's benefit from hanging out at the office, being in the office, learning, especially as a new agent. Yeah. But like he said, where we make money is not in the office. Yep. And what's great about this industry is you have 4 kids and there's flexibility with it. You kind of make your own schedule to some degree. But well, I'm glad you jumped in and did it. Yeah. That's exciting.
Me too. Yeah. And I think that's the thing too. I think we all have pivotal people in our lives that kind of help us. And Andy was one, and then Peggy was my mentor. And so, I was able to kind of shadow her, go on listing appointments. She represented Mapes construction at the time. So I got into new construction based on that, holding open houses. And then your dad, of course.
So you weren't listing, you were just kind of helping on those, or?
Nope. No, I had my first listing within the first 30 days because I was
with
calling
Mapes?
on expired.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, but on the new construction part.
I was just doing open houses for Peggy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which was a great way to learn it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
we talk about, necessity, especially as a new agent, to do open houses, but there was a good foot in the door to learn new construction, be around new construction, which then you started obviously working some new construction.
Oh yeah, it did. It really did kind of catapult my first year. It really did. Because that was the thing. You were meeting people coming in that weren't attached, and then you could, even though that house wasn't theirs, if you're good at open houses, you can make a lot of money. So
okay, now you said a little bit ago you're not a salesperson.
I'm not a salesperson.
But first sale, you just mentioned you called and expired.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was and I still have the timer now. It's still on my desk. So lots of agents that I've helped coach and talk to about helping their careers, I always pull that little timer out because I was very regimented when I first started. And anyway, so I would set this timer for so long, and I would go and I would call expireds. And then, once that was done, then I would set my timer again, and then I would work on for sale by owners. And and that's just what I did. And I think that's one thing about new people is that they don't have any fear. They don't have any conceived notions that we have a tendency, right? Or that we, right, exactly, that we don't necessarily have after we have some experience. We're like, oh, I don't do that anymore. Well, no, why don't you? You just go back to basics. But yeah, I went, my first listing was the Brass Armadillo's owners.
Oh, yeah.
And I searched them out, and I actually went into the Brass Armadillo and talked to her right behind the desk, and because she'd had it listed. And anyway, I got the listing.
So you went, she wasn't expecting you to come in, you just stopped in, or?
Yeah. I just stopped in.
I was
sure
talking,
did.
I was talking to Teresa the other day where she got a lead and the person was kind of unresponsive, and she went to their house. And, it's like, hey, seek it out if you want it. Yeah. I think especially this is true anytime. And you can fluctuate in your business. You're feeling a little slow. Maybe we go back to the basics you talked about, right? Like, hey, let's pick up the phone and let's call expireds, or go to their place of work and for sale by owners. Stock them. Buy dire restraining order is what we say. So so I think getting back to the basics, I was talking to my real estate coach the other day, and we're talking about Jay, and we were talking for sale by owners and expireds, and he's had success doing it, but it's a lot of work. There's a lot of rejection, those type of things. And he had made mention, he's like, most people, they get into real estate and they start doing those things, but the goal is to be able to quit doing those things, to build your business in such a way that, hey, repeat referral is not that that's everything, but that's a big part of our business. And maybe I don't have to do all of those activities that I did before. I'm not saying you shouldn't or couldn't, but I appreciated that comment. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, I get that.
But I can think back in multiple times over my career when I was selling, though, that if things did start to get slow, I did go back to those basics, and it might not have been those basics that actually turned into productivity, but it was like doing those things. It just seemed like the synergy made business come. Yeah. And that's the only thing I can attribute it to, you know?
I've seen it. I think activity breeds activity. And I've seen it with people who have joined our team and maybe weren't having the success they wanted, but all of a sudden they started having success with some of the online leads we were doing. But then other avenues all of a sudden started to grow because I think you're in it, you're doing the activities, and it just kind of naturally brings some other things out. So 100%, I think getting back to basics, if your business is floundering a little bit or slow, is always a benefit. So you talked about mentorship. I love that. I think new agents need to find it. I think experienced agents like to be a mentor is important. You mentioned Peggy and a few other names there. Yeah. What did that look like for you to be mentored?
Well, like I said, with Peggy, it was, I would go on listing appointments with her. I shadowed her in a couple open houses, and I kind of got a feel for, how she did it. She helped me with paperwork. I mean, she really was kind of my go-to, which was great because she was a teacher at Terrace Elementary in Ankeny. Yeah.
Did I ever?
Yeah, I don't know. But
Terrace is the fairest.
Yeah.
If you knew that was
East was
the least.
no.
Southeast. Anyway, okay, go ahead.
So that was great, and then of course your dad was huge, really. So he used to teach all of those classes, and I took them time and time again, even though, and honestly, I use them when I teach people now because it's the basics, and it's good salesmanship.
Yeah.
You have a lot of great qualities. And one of the things noticed about you, especially as you became the broker at Coldwell Banker, is that mentorship. And seems like you really took it to heart, maybe because you experienced it in your early career, but I've seen you mentor both experienced and new agents alike. Was it you experienced that, or just something you've always had a heart for?
I didn't realize I had a heart for it, honestly. I really didn't. And it did just kind of evolve when I did become the manager of the Ankeny office. Your dad, back in 2014, talked to me about, kind of a successorship. And that was the first time I ever even thought that.
Of management?
Yeah. And anyway, and then it just kind of evolved. But I love meeting agents where they're at and then finding out where they want to go and then helping them achieve it, because every agent's different. And so being able to kind of find where their strengths are and the things that they, because I always tell people, like, here's the thing, if you hate doing this, then we're not going to focus on that because you're never going to do it. Right? Yeah. Like, let's focus on the things that you enjoy, and then we'll build your real estate business around that.
Yeah, we talk about agent archetypes, and I think it comes to that, converter, marketer, prospector, networker. And if you can dial in on who you are and what you enjoy doing, instead of like, I think so many companies and maybe trainers want to put you in a box, like you have to do this and this and this to be successful, where, that's simply not true. And it's not beneficial. Some things to learn as an agent, I think is helpful, but finding your niche, I think is huge.
Yeah.
Both, just enjoying what you're doing and to actually make money in this business.
And, and here's the thing is that each one of us are going to have a different clientele base. And that's why we say there's enough sunshine to go around. Yeah. Because, somebody that wants to work with you may not want to work with me, right? They're attracted to you for certain reasons, and other people are going to be attracted to me. And that's why, that's
my mustache that I had might be a big part of that, but yeah.
Cowboy hat.
Yeah, everybody connects with people differently. And this is off topic, but like, it's also good to be reminded that on the other side, it's okay to lose, and it's okay if you don't connect with every person. Yeah. It's okay that who I am, be who I am, and connect with the people that are like me, right?
And be authentic. Yeah. I think that's key.
Yeah. So you joined Coldwell Banker in 2006, and I mean, you were in sales for a long time.
I was.
Did some new construction. How many years did you do new construction?
Well, I started in new construction at Iowa Realty, so I was doing new construction probably early on in 2004 with Timber Ridge Homes, and then that parlayed into working with Marty Mendenhall of Creative Building Ventures, and I had a few other ones, just kind of fly by the seat of the pants builders in there too. But Marty's still, building and builds a great house. So it's great if you can get with a good builder that listens to you and really works with you as a partner. And he did. So,
and what a great avenue to have that spoke of new construction. And I mean, I think for you, you started doing new construction open houses, and then you got connected, and then you started working with, you mentioned 2+ other builders that just kind of around that space, work in that space. It just kind of happens sometimes. So 2014, you were having a conversation with my dad, but you did not become the broker at that time.
Nope.
It was what year?
2000. I got hired the end of 2017.
2017. They didn't give my dad much of a say after they fired him, so I don't. He doesn't listen to podcasts. Not that he cares anyway. But yeah, so 2017, you become
let's make it clear
Oh,
that
okay,
there
go
was
ahead.
someone in between us. Right?
Yeah, Kimber was there.
Yes,
yeah,
she was in between your
Yes.
father and I.
Yeah.
And once I got the role, I brought him back into the fold.
Yeah, okay.
So, let's just be very clear about that.
Yeah. And it was Kimber had nothing to do with
No,
my
she
dad's.
didn't either. No.
We love Kimber. Yeah, because she was managing maybe both offices, both Ankeny and Altoona, or was she out?
No, they pulled her from
Altoona.
They pulled her
and
from
Liz
Altoona and took her over to
moved in.
Ankeny. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. And then she retired in 2017.
She did, yeah.
Yeah, and then you stepped into that role.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, so talk about that transition from going to sales to, that broker manager role.
Yeah, oddly enough, I think the timing was just right. I wasn't something that I was looking for by any means. I actually, they were only hiring an assistant manager. Kimber hadn't decided to retire.
Oh.
And so that's what I applied for, which was still a selling role. And so, but then after the whole interview process, and it was an extensive process that they put us through, there's, I think, 5 of us. And then they hired Mike Eilander as the assistant manager, and I was like, oh, okay, great. I'll just go back on to sell. No harm, no foul, right? And Kimber's like, no, I've decided I want to retire now, and I want you to have my job. I was like, oh, okay. Which was a non-selling position, which I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, the transition, it like I said, I think the timing was just right. And I just relied a lot on like what your dad had taught me, honestly. And a lot of it all just kind of fell into place. Yeah. And, I added some things, that
Made your own.
Things that as an agent, I was like, okay, I don't like getting emails all the time. So guess what? I'm just going to do an email once a week. They're going to know when it comes out. It's going to be a recap. So hopefully they'll read it, which they still didn't, but that's okay.
Well, we know that.
But, and then...
But some do,
Right, yeah. And then just even, just the mentorship, that really kind of evolved. And doing like the one-on-one coaching, offering it for agents that wanted it. Yeah. It was just, I enjoyed it.
So those 7 years, what was your favorite part, of leading and managing?
I think the agents and just the camaraderie and just it was family. Yeah. I really think that strong bond of just knowing that they could come to you for anything.
Yeah.
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 And
that's
just
awesome.
and I loved knowing everybody's deals too. And so when they came to me and they'd say, hey, what this and this, I'm like, oh, this deal, that blah 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 blah, and they're like, oh, but well, yeah, I'm going through all your files, right? I know it, and then just being able to help them through hard situations and get them to the finish line. I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome because you got a lot. I mean, in that role, you do have a lot of there's the broker managing side, then there's the mentorship training side and all that. So there's a lot to that. So you made a change, 24, we don't need to talk what led to the change or anything, but, just talk about maybe the excitement and,
So, LPT came to Iowa and they asked me to be their broker and said, no. I think, the whole model of the traditional brokerage is kind of dying. Mm-hmm. And I really liked what LPT was offering for agents and for it to be agent centric, for it to be, because I think we all know that it's not necessarily the brokerage. The brokerage can be, the kind of partner to go along with you, but ultimately it's each agent and their sphere, right?
Yep.
I mean, they are the brand.
Yep.
So I love that, and I love that each agent can be their own brand and to help nurture
and we wanted
that.
to, right? I mean, we want them to build that,
Yeah.
and not that we don't care about legacy, but we care about that individual agent building their own brand, and we just like you said, want to come alongside and help them do that.
Well, and the part that I love about the legacy aspect of it is that you've taken the traditional idea, but now we combined it with the LPT kind of, structure in terms of compensation, right?
Yeah.
And so we still have the, training and, the mentorship and the marketing and, the support, the admins. You have all of that, but yet you've got this other, non-franchise aspect, which is putting more money in agents' pockets, which who doesn't love that?
Yeah, we do. So, now you still have 4 kids, but you got some grandkids. You got a cabin you spend some time at.
Yeah.
You're married to Corey.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you balance all that and what's going on in life now.
Yeah. So we've got 9 grandchildren and 5 children between us, and and several, married off. So we've got Tyler that's married to Taylor, and Tanner here's going to get married in 2 weeks. Yeah. So Hunter's going to be joining our family. So it's awesome. It's a great time of life. Yeah, it really is.
I'll try to bother you during the wedding.
I know you will.
I promised Tracey when she got married that won't bug you, and I think it was probably the day before or whatever. Everything kind of just happened, and I panic sometimes. It goes. Yeah, well, we appreciate you. We appreciate your, presence within LPT and Legacy, and I know there's a lot of agents that you are the resource, whether it's issue or mentorship or whatever. And so, thank you for all that you do in our company, and thank you for sitting down and chatting and just letting us get to know you a little more.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, Tracey.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Are You Down with LPT? Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you get some valuable takeaways to apply to your journey. New episodes drop every Friday, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss out. And hey, if you have your own story you'd like to share or questions you'd like to dive into, hit us up. Until next time, stay down with LPT and keep leveling up. Catch you in the next one.